Continue reading Krsna book by I.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, chapter 15, the killing of Dhenukāsura. In this way, Sri Krishna, along with his elder brother Balaram, passed the childhood age known as Kaumara and stepped into the age of Pauganda from the 6th year up to the 10th. At that time, all the cowhead men conferred and agreed to give those boys who had passed their 5th year charge of the cows in the pasturing ground. Given charge of the cows, Krishna and Balaram traversed Vrindavan, purifying the land with their lotus footprints. Accompanied by the cowhead boys and Balaram, Krishna brought forth the cows and played on his flute as he entered the forest of Vrindavan, which was full of flowers, vegetations and pasturing grass. The Vrindavan forest was as sanctified as the clear mind of a devotee and was full of bees, flowers and fruits. There were chirping birds and clear water lakes with waters that could relieve one of the fatigue. Sweet-smelling breezes blew always, refreshing the mind and body. Krishna with his friends and Balaram entered the forests and seeing the favorable situation, desired to enjoy the atmosphere to the fullest extent. Krishna saw all the trees overloaded with fruits and fresh twigs bending down to touch the ground as if welcoming him by touching his lotus feet. He was very pleased by the behavior of the trees, fruits and flowers, and he began to smile, realizing their desires. Krishna then spoke to his elder brother Balaram as follows: "My dear brother, you are superior to all of us and your lotus feet are worshipped by the demigods. Just see how these trees full with fruits and flowers have bent down to worship your lotus feet. It appears that they are trying to get out of the darkness that has obliged them to accept the form of trees. Actually, the trees born in the land of Vrindavan are not ordinary living entities. Having held the impersonal point of view in their past lives, they have been put into this stationary condition of life. But now they have the opportunity of seeing you in Vrindavan, and they are praying for further advancement in spiritual life through your personal association. Generally, living entities in the modes of darkness obtain the bodies of trees. The impersonalist philosophers are in their darkness, but they eradicate it by taking full advantage of your presence. I think the drones that are buzzing all around you must have been your devotees in their past lives. They cannot leave your company because no one can be a better, more affectionate master than you. You are the supreme and original personality of Godhead, and the drones are just trying to spread your glories by chanting at every moment. I think some of them must be great sages, devotees of your lordship, and they are disguising themselves in the form of drones because they are unable to give up your company even for a moment. My dear brother, you are the supreme worshipable Godhead. Just see how the peacocks are dancing before you in great ecstasy. The deer, whose behavior is just like that of the gopis, are welcoming you with the same affection, and the cuckoos who are residing in this forest are welcoming you with their joyful, sweet cries, because they consider that your appearance in their home is so auspicious. Even though they are trees and animals, these residents of Vrindavan are glorifying you. They are prepared to welcome you to the best of their ability, as is the practice of great souls in receiving another great soul at home. As for the land, it is pious and fortunate because the footprints of your lotus feet are making its body. It is quite natural for these Vrindavan inhabitants to thus receive a great personality like you. The herbs, creepers and plants are also so fortunate to touch your lotus feet, and by your touching the twigs with your fingernails, these small plants are also made glorious. As for the hills and the rivers, they too are now glorious because you are glancing at them. Above all, the damsels of Braja, the gopis, are the most glorious because you embrace them with their strong arms, being attracted by their beauty. In this way, Lord Krishna and Balaram began to enjoy the residents of Vrindavan to their full satisfaction as they herded the calves and the cows on the bank of the Yamuna. In some places, Krishna and Balaram were accompanied by their friends. The boys were singing, imitating the humming sound of the drones, and accompanying Krishna and Balaram were garlanded with forest flowers, While working, the boys sometimes imitated the croaking sound of the swans in the lakes, and when they saw the peacocks dancing, they imitated them before Krsna. Krsna also moved his neck, imitating the dancing and making his friends laugh. The cows taken care of by Krsna had different names, and Krsna would call them with love. After hearing Krsna calling, the cows would immediately respond by mooing, and the boys would enjoy this exchange to their heart's content. They would all imitate the sound vibrations made by the different kinds of birds, especially the chakoras, peacocks, cuckoos, and bharadwajas. Sometimes when they would see the weaker animals fleeing out of fear of the sounds of tigers and lions, the boys along with Krsna and Balaram would imitate the animals and run away with them. When they felt some fatigue, they would sit down, and Balaram would put his head on the lap of one of the boys just to take rest, and Krsna would immediately come and begin massaging the legs of Balaram. And sometimes Krsna would take a palm fan and fan the body of Balaram, causing a pleasing breeze to release him of his fatigue. Other boys would sometimes dance and sing while Balaram took rest, and sometimes they would wrestle among themselves or jump. When the boys were thus engaged, Krsna would immediately join them, and catching their hands, he would enjoy their company and laugh and praise their activities. When Krsna would feel tired and fatigued, he would sometimes take shelter of the root of a big tree or the lap of a cowherd boy and lie down. When he would lie down with a boy or a root at his pillow, some of the boys would come and massage his legs, and some would fan his body with a fan made from leaves. Some of the more talented boys would sing in very sweet voices to please him. Thus very soon his fatigue would go away. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krsna, whose legs are tended by the Goddess of Fortune, shared himself with the cowherd boys as one of them, expanding his internal potency to appear exactly like a village boy. But despite his appearing just like a village boy, there were occasions when he proved himself to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sometimes men pose themselves as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and cheat innocent people, but they can only cheat, they cannot exhibit the potency of God. While Krsna was thus engaged in his transcendental pastimes, exhibiting his internal potency in the company of the supermost fortunate cowherd boys, there occurred another chance for him to exhibit the superhuman powers of Godhead. His most intimate friends Sridham, Subala, and his Toka Krsna addressed Krsna and Balaram with great love and affection thus: "Dear Balaram, you are very powerful, your arms are very strong. Dear Krsna, you are very expert in killing all kinds of disturbing demons. Will you kindly note that just near this place there is a big forest of the name Talavan.